Rossi just rides past on his 125cc scooter. It is 2 days until the big one, the title decider at the Valencia Moto GP. I've never been to a Moto GP in my life, and I cannot wait because Michelin sent me an email a few months ago. They said, Freddie, you're invited to a 2-day, 2-night experience. It will be Saturday, where I'll be riding a number of some of the most powerful motorcycles on the market in Valencia, and on Sunday, of course, it will be the Moto GP itself. Full VIP experience, and have a listen to this, what I'll be riding on Saturday, just to give you a taster of what Michelin have got in store for me. There will be on test a Ducati Supersport, Ducati Multistrada, BMW S1000XR, BMW R1250R, Kawasaki Ninja H2, Kawasaki ZH2 and Kawasaki ZX10R. So that will be roughly twice the horsepower that I'm used to. It's going to take me 4 hours and 400 kilometers to get from here, Barcelona, over to Valencia. But I mean, now I'm here in Barcelona, I couldn't not ride to the MotoGP. Apparently it's meant to be a huge deal. Riders from all over Europe actually come to the Valencia MotoGP and camp there. I'll be doing it a bit more luxury in a hotel, but still I can't wait. I'll take you with me. I'll probably split this into 2 videos. One of me attempting to test ride some 200 horsepower motorbikes in the hills outside Valencia. And the second one, I just feel so lucky, the MotoGP, but in the actual VIP section. So I'll try and film as much as I can of the race day itself. Right. I mean, I'm an hour later than I wanted to go. I've got to head off. I'll take you with me. Let's go. Always.
No rest, no, no, I've been down so long that my mind can't get no rest, no, no, this ain't easy, darling, 'cause the devil's on my trail.
Well, I'm nearly there. I've done 3¼ hours and it's a lovely stretch of motorway. On the left-hand side, you get sea views for much of the ride, and on the right-hand side, you have mountain views. I've just got half an hour left, so I thought I'd do a gear for the day because I'll also be wearing this for all of the bike tests tomorrow. U-Rock Steel Martin boots, Italian company. I've had these for about 2 years and they're very, very nice, slick pair of stealthy boots. All-day comfort as well. Hood jeans. Now these aren't the usual SK11 slim fits that I wear. These are actually the K7s. So you can see it's a straight leg all the way down, just a bit looser fitting throughout. Hood jeans are now fully back in stock, so if you are looking for them, every single size and every fit, whether it's slim fit or regular, they're all back in stock, so you can grab a pair now if you are interested. This is the Belstaff. I just love this jacket, Belstaff Brooklyn's jacket. One of the classiest, in fact, it's probably my favorite biking jacket I've ever tried. Removable lining, wax cotton. This is a size medium. Sometimes I'm medium to large in different jackets, but definitely for the Belstaff stuff, I'm a medium. So if you're around my size, I'm 6'1", about 80 kilos, you want a medium as well, with exclusive Rage, shiny black helmet, French company. I hope you can pick that up, but it's the most beautiful inner lining and fully removable. Just chuck it in a normal 40-degree wash and you can wash the whole inner lining with, again, I wear these all the time because they are probably my favorites, German company Throttle Snake, the glove trotter gloves. Just absolute simplicity and I love them. Right, last half an hour, then I'll be at the hotel. Actually, there is one more thing I'll quickly show you. This is my new backpack. It's not a biking brand, but it doesn't need to be for backpacks. This is Herschel, and it's a really nice quality, classically styled backpack. Very, very easy to use, and this makes a big difference when you're biking. You need to get stuff and open it constantly, getting in and out. These are buckles, but they're just magnetized. So the buckle is just for the looks, and actually they magnetize and clip on incredibly easily. Zip closed underneath there. This is drawstring on top with lots of padding on the back. You can see huge areas of padding, so it gives a really good amount of support when you're riding like I have done for 3 hours or so, and very, very thick straps. It's a really heavy duty backpack. I think it looks fantastic. And after using it for 3.5 hours, I would highly recommend it. Herschel, definitely check them out. Well, I made it, and I've just about managed to squeeze, I hope that's okay, squeeze the Bonneville in right outside the hotel here. You can see Michelin flags either side. I've seen a few other bikers coming and going. I think there'll be a big range of nationalities at this actual meal this evening. And this will be my accommodation for the next 3 days. You know, Michelin, they always treat me too well. It's a lovely apartment, or a lovely hotel room. Bathroom with a separate loo area there. Just a huge amount of space here. Cupboard area. And coming through into the bed area with plenty of room at the back for a table and chairs as well. I just had a knock from the hotel staff. They gave me, I think it must be a bag of toiletries, a few chocolates there, a couple of bottles of water, and a welcome pack from Michelin. Well, I've got a few hours before going downstairs to dinner, so I'll show you what comes in a Michelin race pack. Cap. I hope this isn't needed. Umbrella. Do I actually need one of those? So delighted with that. This will probably be needed. Water flask, keyring, and I've been told these are needed by a few people because it gets insanely loud. Earplugs, a necessity, I've been told. Plus, no idea what this is. Ah! I thought that was waterproof. That is a Michelin, let me hold it there, Michelin bike cover. Okay, oh no, it's fine, it's fine. I've quickly come out before we've headed off. You can see the sun rising just over there because I had to get a glimpse of all of the bikes lined up. Bonneville, perfectly there. Everything nice and safe. And overnight, a whole load of gigantic BMW GSs parked up. And the Bonneville looks quite pathetic next to them. Right, I'm going to go upstairs, get ready, but just to give you a little glimpse of the lineup, we've got KTMs, BMWs, Ducatis, a few of them are on different Michelin tyres. So the aim of today, yes, get to test out the bikes, but also get to feel the difference riding the same model motorbike with different tyres and the effect that those different tyres can make on that bike. So I'm hugely excited. I mean, to be in Valencia now, the day before the MotoGP, and get to test out some of these bikes behind me, the most powerful bikes that I will ever have ridden in my life by such a huge distance. I mean, you know, I can't even compare it to anything else. I'll do a rundown of all of the bikes outside here because it's MotoGP weekend and you've got a lot of bikers turning up now. So just give you a bit of a hint, a bit of idea about what other people's bikes are here who have made their way to the MotoG, because it feels like it's really heating up now. So these are all of the Michelin bikes there. You can see the Michelin team all getting ready. These are the ones we'll actually be riding, and I'll go through more details in a bit. But these are some of the bikes that have turned up, I guess, just to watch the MotoGP. You know, you can see these are big, a lot of them BMW GSs, Honda Taurus, but you know when they've done a lot of mileage, when the number plate's actually been so bleached by the sun you can't even see it. They're Portuguese bikes, Portuguese, little Vespa there, and all of the BMWs. These I'm sure won't be the ones we're taking out, but again, they love their GSs out here, and these may well be. So that's got the Michelin logo. My guess is that these will be the two outriders who'll be leading us around for a 3-hour ride into the mountains of Valencia. Right, that's it. I've got to get ready. I've got 10 minutes until we need to be outside the hotel. Well, we're about an hour or so into the ride. I've tested out 3 bikes now. I mean, the weather's stunning, the road surface is incredible. It's like riding heaven. I started off on effectively the tamest bike, which is this, the 900cc BMW on basically the most road focused version of the 3 Michelin tyres, and I'll put all of the details here about the 3 tyres. There are in essence 3 of them. One is road focused, one is road in a bit of track, and one is track focused, where you really at the very least need to have completely dry roads if you're going to be riding it on normal roads and not a track. So I started off on the 900cc BMW on the road tyres. And after talking to everyone about it, you know, it's a bike that, sorry, flower me, it's a bike that is fine, but everyone had the same reaction as me to this BMW when they tried it out. And that's, you know, it's not going to set the world light. It's also not the most characterful bike with that engine. You know, it's very good at its job, but it's not something that, you know, you're going to have sleepless nights thinking about. But handling, everything, very, very good bike. I'll do a flip round of that in a second because I think it comes in at a fairly decent price point as well. I then moved on to this, the Kawasaki H2 or ZH2, I think. This is 197 horsepower and it's on the most track focused tyres. So I was warned beforehand with these tyres, you have to make sure they're at least up to a decent level of temperature. So I spent the first 30 seconds riding this bike completely genuinely petrified because you know 200 horsepower track tires. I made sure I went at the back of the queue because I didn't want to embarrass myself, but honestly after about a minute I found that to be riding heaven. The power is like a spaceship, the handling's sublime. It's one of the most incredible bikes I've ever tried, and that surprises even myself because I'm not a sports or fast bike kind of person, but this is a sensation, this bike. It completely blew my mind, and on these roads I felt like I was in riding heaven. Although I should say that I was just talking to a motorcycling journalist, German motorcycling journalist, who was on that Kawasaki for about 2 minutes, and I said to him, so did you like it? He said, no, awful, get me off it. And he wanted to switch back to the BMW 900. So it's a Marmite bike. There have now been 2 people who have hated that Kawasaki, but I've liked it. Oh, it's a fun day. Next up, I'm on this big BMW. I'll get all of the stats in a second. That's the 1000cc S1000. Oh, we've got about 3 or 4 more bikes to test. We've got about, I think, 2 more hours of riding to go, and I should hopefully make my way through all of these bikes. But it's been fascinating just getting to try these bikes so far. You can see they're doing a few drive-by photos at the moment. We're just on a bend here. Oh, it's a good way to spend the day. Right, let's do a little walk around of this, the Kawasaki ZH2. This is, in the UK, £16,500, which is a lot of money, but you get so much performance out of it. It's 197 horsepower, and it's, of course, 1000cc. But look at this on the side of it. I've never ridden a bike with that before, supercharged. You know, these are the cars that have been following us. You've got a fairly simple Audi A3, but then you've got two Mercedes AMGs behind it. So they've been following, getting all of the shots. And I waited as long as I could in this, gave on a long straight the other bikes as far as they could into the distance. And then I just floored it as much as I could. And it's spaceship levels of quick. It's actually, I'm surprised at how addictive it is, that feeling of power. But that's it, the fastest bike I've ever ridden, effectively 200 horsepower. Akrapovic pipes, and just to give you a little idea on the light up display there. Superb bike, really superb. And this was the first bike I tested, the BMW F900. This comes in at £8,600, and I think, if I remember, I think it's about 100 horsepower. It's a decently smart looking bike. We've got 4 of these today. They're good at their job. This is it in black. It just doesn't specifically do anything for me as a bike, although being a BMW, of course, they do things properly, and it's all beautifully well put together. And I do think, I mean, it's great to see 3 of them, I do think £8,600 for a bike with that much performance, I actually think it's quite good value at that price point, maybe especially in black. It's a mean looking bike. Okay, let's do a little bit of a behind the scenes. You're going to hear quite a bit of German, Spanish and French talking because I think there's only one other Brit here. So, look at those 2 AMGs, the Pursuit cars. And now we've got a couple of the bikes going out to get the drive-by shots, or the ride-by shots. So they're going to go down there now in a 3, and you can see how beautiful the roads are. We haven't seen anyone for about 20 minutes or so. They're about to head down there, fly back up, get some pictures with the photographer there. The landscape is spectacular, so open, so much space. Well, we made it to the MotoGP, the qualifying session. You can see people leaving all around me because the final qualifier has just finished. I'll do a full tour tomorrow just because it will be at its absolute capacity, but it's got a real festival vibe. I mean, we went here just behind me to get our tickets, and just as we were getting our tickets, Valentino Rossi just rides past on his 125cc scooter. Amazing. The ride itself was brilliant. I only got to test out one extra bike, which was that BMW SX1000. Very competent bike. Again, that engine, it's not the most characterful engine, and the seat is like a rock. Honestly, it's one of the least comfortable seats I've tried, but a very competent bike. Amazing day in the hills, just really 3 hours of incredible riding. So I'll leave it there, and I'll come back to you tomorrow with a full tour of the MotoGP, because I've been told by an expert a few interesting things to look out for tomorrow. So I'll do my very best to a good guided tour. Well, I've got lucky, and on the way back, the final little stretch, I've got one more bike to test, and that is the Ducati Supersport 950. This is a bike that quite a few people have said is one of the best in the lineup. That's the KTM 1290 that I won't get to test. Big BMW just behind it. And this is the KTM 890, I think, and this is a bike quite a few people have said is the best bike in the lineup. Kawasaki and BMW there, the other BMW, and that's the rest of the lineup. But this, the Supersport, let me just squeeze through. It's a lovely looking bike, not absolute hardcore Supersport. It should be a lovely handling thing. Oh, that was a long day, but I found it fascinating. I learnt quite a few things today. Firstly, delighted I got to try out the Ducati, and it was, after being on those two BMWs, a revelation, because the two BMWs that I tested, lovely bikes, they do their job brilliantly, they are excellent bikes, but they're devoid of soul. And you get on the Ducati, you get the vibrations, the rumbling, you know, the wing mirrors, the mirrors, they vibrate so much over 20 miles an hour, they're completely useless, you may as well get rid of them. But I realised how much I crave that intangible thing, the character and the soul. And if we're down to the last 10 years or so of petrol motorcycles being sold in Europe, if we're coming to the end, my lord, I want one last hurrah. I don't want to be whimpering out with petrol engine bikes that are just sounding more and more like electric motorcycles until it's just such a gradual transition you barely even notice the difference. I want an engine that sings, and I want a bike with so much character, it makes me jump off it at the end of a day, and I'm just feeling so happy that I spent a day in a saddle. While the BMWs are excellent, you know, it doesn't specifically do anything to me. They're great at their job, but I ended up feeling quite cold and not desperate to get back on those bikes. It was a really interesting experience. Something else I've learned. I had a 2007 Triumph Speed Triple, 130 horsepower bike. It was a monster of a super naked. And the reason I'm saying this is, don't worry if you can't afford one of these, the latest and greatest motorcycles, because honestly, probably for the past 12 years or so, 12 to 15 years, motorcycles have been so good and so reliable that for any normal rider, like you and I, the difference between my 2007 Triumph Speed Triple and one of these modern motorcycles, for any normal rider, you are not going to notice any difference at all on real roads. You could say that the older bikes may have slightly more character. So from that point of view, don't worry at all. You know, look at one of these new modern bikes that are all brilliant, but then you can look at the older version because they're all so damn good from the past 10 to 15 years old. And another thing, personal preference. You know, these are all excellent bikes that we were testing out today, some of the latest and greatest, but it's personal preference. Example, the Kawasaki ZH2, I thought that was my pick of the bikes for the day. It was completely sublime. The power delivery, the suspension, the handling, everything was just so seamless and so smooth. It's a stunningly good bike. It's sublime to ride, really, really breathtakingly good. I then spoke to 4 different people. In fact, I spoke to 5 different people. Of the 5 different people, 3 despised it, and myself and 1 other liked it. Now, the interesting thing with that is, I asked 2 German motorcycle journalists who both write for German motorcycle magazines. One of them detested it so much he got off it after 1 minute. The other one said it was one of the best bikes he'd tested today and it was stunningly good. You know, so even for these bikes, you get huge differences in opinion, even from the experts. It's purely down to personal preference. What bike do you like more than any other? There's no right or wrong answer. That's what I've learned today. And riding a 200 horsepower bike like I did, the Kawasaki ZH2, it's only as scary as you want it to be. You know, it's actually relatively tame if you just want to, you know, stay under 70 miles an hour. It's just a beautiful handling bike, extremely smooth. If you want to give it some, it's an animal, but it's still a smooth animal. It's a beautifully smooth bike, that. it's definitely my pick of the day, you know. Motorbikes, they're only as dangerous as you want them to be. Right, I'll actually wrap it up there and save tomorrow's video or the video that I'll film tomorrow for the Valencia GP specifically, because after going there today for qualifying, there's a lot of interesting stuff. You know, we've got access to the paddock, the VIP, so it'll be quite interesting, I think. So I'll save that for one dedicated video. And I think I've spoken quite a bit about motorbikes today. Probably rambled a bit as well. So we'll wrap this one up here. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming along. Have a fantastic day and week, and I will speak to you all, or I will see you all in the next one.